not snore.
The demon might be you.
The only way
Because I could.
Whoa.
The Greenway Outdoors is brought to you by Ram Trucks, built to serve. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, your adventure starts here. Savage Arms, better comes standard. Nosler Ammunition, world's finest bullets, ammunition, and brass. Boss Shot Shells, superior made and American made. Carlson's Choke Tubes, the only choke tube we've ever purchased. Onyx Hunt, know where you stand.
Hello and welcome to episode 11 of the Greenway Outdoors podcast. I'm Kyle.
I'm AJ.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Ryan.
And I had a bad night.
Let's hear all about it.
First of all,
He's scared, bro.
Yeah.
He came in.
He walked off the balcony.
He came in as white as a ghost.
No, I did have a rough night. I have not genuinely as an adult been scared in a very long time. Like, not much scares me now. You know, as far as like physical things, nothing does. But not much.
Nothing scares me.
No, because I'll just shoot him.
The only thing to fear is nothing.
Jeez.
So I had a dream last night. I've never had this happen, but I had a dream where I like woke up, still couldn't move. There, I'm telling stories like Jeff, so that's a little piece of it.
Sleep paralysis?
Okay, so the dream goes like this. I'm at my childhood church where my parents still go and everything, Holy Cross.
To be clear, dream beginning.
Yeah, here we go.
This is the dream.
Yeah, I'm in the dream. So I slept at the church last night. I don't know why I had a bad dream. No, so I'm in the church basement, which is like where the youth group would go. And one of the guys that always helped with the youth group, his name is Uncle Mark. Everyone called him Uncle Mark. And super nice guy, really
Wasn't
great.
Anybody's uncle.
He actually was some
So
people's
he's
in the youth
like
group's uncle, and then everyone just said uncle.
So he's a nice everyone's uncle. He's not the creepy everyone's uncle.
He's the nice version,
Okay,
yes.
nice.
He's very helpful, and he'd be there
Just
for
to
you.
clarify.
Yeah, I thought that.
In case he's listening, I don't want him to think we're calling him creepy.
Well, he didn't do well in my dream, I'll tell you that.
Oh, no.
So he was there with his wife, but it wasn't really Aunt Cindy. It was somebody else that was way older. It was like an old lady that I felt like I knew. For whatever reason, I thought she was his wife in the thing, but she didn't look anything like her. Anyhow, it doesn't have to make sense. So we were down there, and they said to me, they go, it was established that we had just got done singing during the church service, and they were upset about it for whatever reason. And they go, well, Jeffrey said that you wrote that song, which, we're pretty upset about it, but, it is what it is. And I go, I didn't write that song. They go, he said you did. I go, I didn't. They go, then you can't leave.
That lying son of a...
No, they go, you can't leave. And in the dream, I was like, oh, Jeff was trying to protect me. God bless you.
By telling him you wrote a song?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I'm just telling you what happened. So I go, okay, well, they had said, well, if you didn't write the song, then you can't leave because now you know what wrote it. And that was like the premise of what they were saying. And I was like, what do you mean I can't leave? And they ended up getting kind of mean with me in the church basement. I was like, I can leave anytime I want. They go, I'm telling you now you can't leave. And it was all because in my head I knew because of something hidden inside this song that was bad or something like that. So I'm like, well, I'm leaving. And I go to leave and they go to stop me. And when they turned to come after me, because we were like in the kitchen that was down there, and then I was like going out the back door, with the way they turned, I could like see through them, and I realized there was a demon in each one of them. So it wasn't really them. It was a demon inside their body or whatever. So I go, I'm leaving. And they go, you can't leave. And they kind of said it like laughing. So I go running out the door, and I left this out. But in the dream, I was looking up at them, which would mean, because I think I'm taller than both of them, I was a kid still. And in the dream, I felt like a kid. Okay. So I was running, and I was like, what do you do when you're a kid? I go, Dad! Because I'm like, my dad gonna whoop you, on demon or not. So I scream, Dad, and I'm like yelling, Dad, and they kind of laugh at me, and I realize I'm not running anymore. Like I feel sluggish, and I'm like, Dad, and my voice stops, and they go, we said you can't leave, and I'm like, I like wake up. So I'm laying in my bed, and I didn't quite wake up though. I'm looking next to me, and there's a table with blood on it. And then I look in the bathroom, and I'm only because there's like you can see like through the hallway, you can kind of see the bathroom, and there's a demon in there that looked like the one inside the bodies.
At your apartment right
Yes.
now? Whoa.
And I see just the face, like the side of it, because I can only see like half, because part of it's blocked or whatever. And he's staring at me, and I'm like, oh, it's still happening. So I'm like, you wake yourself up then, but you can see still. You're here, and I basically did that. I like blinked myself awake. The weird thing was though, it like went away, but then like I blinked and closed my eyes and opened them again. And I kind of still saw it.
yeah.
I still kind of, that's worse. I still kind of saw it, and then I was like a little freaked out. So I turned on TV, and I like haven't been scared in a very long time. I turned on the TV, turned on the light in the other bathroom that's in my master bedroom.
Whoa.
And I went pee and stuff, and then laid back down. And I was like, I was super sweaty when I woke up, like really hot, which is for whatever reason I randomly get very warm in the middle of the night in my apartment. I don't know why that is apartment. So I'm laying in bed then. Probably an hour and a half goes by. I listen to like motivational speeches and David Goggins and whatever else, a little TikTok.
Anything to get these demons away.
Right. So then I'm like, okay, I'm good. I fall back asleep. I immediately get thrust back into another dream. And I don't even have vivid dreams that often, so I'm like, son of a gun. So I'm at...
I don't
The
know,
problem-
Your dreams are pretty detailed, so...
But when I have them,
Right.
when I do have... But
Right.
you hear about every one of them, so it's like once every 3 months you're getting a story, but that's not actually that
The
often.
problem is he's a very detailed storyteller, so when he does remember his dream, he remembers every aspect of it. And most of it is irrelevant because it's a dream and it doesn't matter, but he remembers it, and he's going to tell you every little bit about it.
Moving on. So the next phase, I'm immediately thrust into some apartment complex that's kind of run down, but in it is like, it reminded me of my sister's actual dorm room area where it was like, there was like a big common area and then there was like rooms that went off of it. And one of the rooms happened to be Ryan and Jenna's. And it was some wedding celebration thing for like pre-wedding BS or after-wedding BS. I didn't really gather which, but...
Well, they had a room together, so it would be after wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of actually. So I go into this. You guys weren't there, and I knew you weren't there. And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't know anybody, which is strange because I actually know everybody. I didn't know a person. And they were all kind of standoffish and weird to me and like weren't very nice to me and stuff. I was like, this kind of sucks. So then, like, as the party goes on, everyone's going into the common area, and Ryan and Jenna are going to be coming out there soon, but they're not there right now. They're going to be coming out to whatever we're going to do. And there's, like, this big screen, and on the screen, you, like, face it, and you have a microphone, and they're, like, people, kind of like when you go to a wedding, and they're like, hey, you know, Grandpa Joe is like, you don't remember what happens tonight, you know, like they do, like, in the wedding videos and stuff. You know what I'm talking about. Well, it was kind of like that, so everyone was, like, recording stuff. I'm like, oh, this will be funny. So I like start saying like the funniest jokes I've ever heard, and everyone's like offended, and they're like, "You can't say that. Jenna's gonna be so mad." I'm like, "Ryan's gonna laugh. If AJ and Jeff are gonna hear, we're gonna laugh." And they go like this, and I'm like talking about it and stuff, and my voice goes away again. In the audience are Uncle Mark and that lady, and they go, "We said you're done talking," and I woke up again. Now it's like 5:30. But, dude, when they said it, we told you you're done talking. Like, it was like you heard it, but they weren't saying anything. But they were able to tell me in my head.
Oh, okay.
And I woke up, and that freaking freaked me out, too. They freaked me out. I'm going to be honest. I woke up normal that time.
That reminds me of the dream you had where you're at Lionsgate, and you wake up, and then there's that dark figure there standing right next to you, and you're like, hey, because you thought it was real.
Yeah, that was my first condo. That wasn't at Lionsgate. That was at my first condo. That was the weirdest story too. I haven't had very many of these, but I was not asleep.
Yeah,
I was playing on my phone, and then I like set it down, and I maybe drifted, but I didn't feel like I had even remotely fallen asleep.
Yeah.
And I look up, and there's a figure standing over me, and I got no feeling about this whatsoever where I was like, that's a bad presence. But this thing's standing over me, and it's getting ready to touch me. It's like a glowing, bluish figure that's going to touch me. I go, hey, like, and it notices me and disappears. But I'm like, I can see you, man. Like, you can't be doing that up in here. Dude, that one, I slept downstairs for like a week.
The weirdest thing, before that first dream, real chill, you know, he got home after a long day's work, sitting there playing on his phone, listening to Hotel California, falls asleep, and then boom, has this dream. He can check out anytime he wants, but he's not allowed to leave. What other songs were you listening to? White Wedding?
White Wedding.
I think he's been watching too much sci-fi.
Could be.
I haven't been watching
I haven't
anything.
had bad dreams in a while.
You haven't been watching anything?
I've been at this office until midnight every night for the last 4
but
days.
you still consume like The Walking Dead and Manifest content. Like last week or the week before, you were.
You poop for an hour, and this is what you get.
Everybody poops for an hour, you know.
I so
audited.
badly want to
Figuring stuff out.
think about like an explanation to the dream, like what
Something that recently happened that would explain why.
Yeah, like what
You don't know how to throw a party?
There's a lot of theories on like, what the dream is about is because of X, Y, and Z in your life. You know, so you can look up
What's-
maybe you're talking too
demonic
much.
presence
What's
and
or
childhood.
maybe I'm
Inability
feeling-
to talk.
Or
being
maybe I'm not
trapped.
feeling heard. No, I'm just kidding. Just yelling. I don't know. I didn't like it though.
That's nuts.
But seeing the thing in the bathroom and like blinking and opening up and it still being there, that got me a little bit.
Next time he sees that Uncle Mark dude, he like it's just in real life in passing, he starts screaming.
I
You know-
probably,
you know,
I probably
probably-
haven't talked to him in years.
You know what probably isn't helping? This little doll that your niece decided to put in the studio here.
I don't
This
like anything
adorable-
about. Bring it a little closer.
Adorable dude. That's
Cute-
rough.
Cute little doll here.
Turn the face a little bit so they can see how. Ooh, God, that's an ugly doll.
Where did she get this from?
I assume Abby's garage sale.
I think it was like buried way deep in the basement or something.
But Lily hid it in Ryan's room in his like binocular thing, so it's like eye level.
I turned around. I got pretty spooked by that thing staring at me.
We started hiding it places, but even better, you put a motor in the head, so every once in a while it just goes.
I'm sitting. I was sitting there at my desk just working, and I sit back. I have a swivel chair. And I turn around. I'm like relaxed in my seat. It's like just right there. In my
I hear
face.
bam, bam, bam.
Wish I knew someone who like knew about dreams.
Well,
Not that I really believe any
according
of that
to
stuff.
the internet, demons tend to appear in your dreams with the intention not only to scare you, but to get your attention. Unfortunately, these vivid nightmares are known to jolt you out of sleep, worrying if you are actually possessed by a powerful entity. But guess what? You most likely are.
Who said that? Google. Okay.
You gotta turn your life around, bro.
So I wonder if that's like
Tell Google JC's on my
you're
side.
subconsciously, you know that there's something that you have to do that you're forgetting about,
Maybe.
and that's the urgency is your brain saying, "Hey, there's an urgent thing," but
Could be the 600 milligrams of caffeine throughout the day.
could also
That
be
could
that.
be.
Yeah.
That could be the demon.
Could be.
Dreams of defeating. Oh no, you didn't defeat.
If
it.
that's the demon, I'm gonna be pissed.
Do you?
I
don't
need that.
I don't know you to snore. Do you ever snore?
I do not snore.
the demon might be you.
The only way.
Because I could
Whoa.
because I could see that if you're having trouble like breathing at all,
Alternatively,
then the not being able to like talk and you know.
alternatively, the demon in your dream could be your own issues that you have no control over.
Oh, that'd probably be it.
That'd be you three.
I'm really excited for this podcast. You can't leave.
Yeah. Don't do that.
On the subject of seeing things in the dark, my
Look at this.
We're gonna do every new podcast segment, dreams.
My brother Rich texted Kyle and I a picture of.
I was up when he sent it because of this.
Oh really?
Yeah, but I didn't want to reply because I didn't want to open up a can of worms of responding at 2 a.m. because I was trying to fall back asleep, but I was awake because
I'm
of
gonna
what
guess it's
happened
a
when he
meme.
sent that.
Oh, he'll
No,
respond
what-
at 2 a.m. I can.
Yeah, at the A.
It was not a meme.
Okay.
It was actually really interesting. This guy took a picture of he had salmon fillets. He lives in Alaska. Let me see if I can read the post here. Cleaned a steelhead over the weekend and put it in the fridge for a couple of days prior to vacuum packing. Didn't know if we were going to eat the whole fish. Yesterday, I decided to get the fish ready for freezing, and I took the fillet out of the gallon bag, patted it dry with paper towels, threw away the bag, and froze the fish. Fast forward to 2 a.m., I am throwing away a diaper, so he must have kids.
Or
Change-
depends. He could be.
that too.
Yeah.
Incontinence
He's going to
affects everyone at some point.
Yeah. Ever had a red line?
I was throwing away a diaper
Sharp.
and noticed something glowing in the garbage. Flipped the lights on and noticed it was coming from the paper towels I used to dry the fillet. Only was able to find one article online discussing luminescent bacteria on salmon in Alaska, but I have never seen it before. Has anyone ever seen this? And the pictures are a napkin, and it's sitting there glowing blue.
What?
And so, like he said, it is hard to find information on this.
So you tried.
I did try. And it's either you get, like, information as though you're a biologist, you're learning, and they're using all these terms, and you're like, this is gibberish. I don't understand any of this. There was one article I found by Oregon State University or something like that, where they discussed just all these different interactions people have had with their seafood glowing. And when people started seeing their food glowing, I think it was like the early 1900s, or it started in the 1980s. People were reporting their food glowing, their seafood glowing, and they thought they were being like poisoned with like radiation and
It's X-rays.
yeah, everyone had these
Gamma.
crazy hypotheses on what it was, when in reality it's just a bacteria. And as far as I read, there haven't been any deaths from consuming the glowing seafood meat. And some people have gotten sick because there's 7 different types of the luminescent bacteria, and some of them can make you sick. But a lot of the scenarios were like, oh, it was a couple laying in bed watching TV, and they had the lights off, and they were
baby.
and they were eating their sushi.
I don't know. I watched Dr. Doolittle again the other night. I was trying to sleep.
You got a lot done in that.
Yeah, I did.
I don't watch stuff, so I'm up at 2 a.m. watching Dr. Doolittle. And
Yeah. It's a lot of the scenarios are just look down at their hand and their hand's glowing, or the food's glowing, and some of them were like they were completely fine, and they sent the food into the FDA afterwards, and they tested it, and they figured out exactly what bacteria it was. And then other people say they ate it and then had diarrhea for like 12 to 18 hours.
Jeez.
Another lady didn't want to send the food in, and her and her husband were eating like a seafood salad, which sounds terrible, and noticed it glowing.
Sounds like something you freaks would order.
Not seafood salad. If you're eating seafood, you eat what it is. You do not mix like that.
Maybe like salmon on salad.
I watched him eat mystery soup
No,
with
no.
full squid in it.
That's fine, but if you're mixing imitation lobster
Yeah.
and crab, and you're putting some shrimp in there and whatever,
I see.
that's a no-go.
I see.
Just eat
that's
the
an
clams.
Italian thing. Fruta del Mar.
Also buco.
But
It's like a soup, and you get like clams
but it's not like
and
a
whatever.
cold
and,
salad.
Soup is different.
Nah, I
than
guess
salad.
It's
Yeah,
all
okay, cold salad, I
It's all
guess, is weird.
cooked.
Yeah.
Ready. Yeah, that's
I watched Jeff eat a mystery meat soup remember when we were oh God, and there was like whole octopus in it and stuff. And
Yes,
What?
that's the thing I'm talking about.
That sounds yummy.
It's a soup, and it comes with like shrimp and octopus, maybe squid, clams or oysters, whatever one,
Scallop.
mussels maybe.
Yeah.
Scallop. Yeah, it's delicious.
those are always good. If it's cold,
Oh,
But
squid.
Yeah, I'm with you on the salad.
The salad, no, don't do that.
Then,
But so anyhow, the husband ate it. So rather than the wife sending in the food to get tested, she decided it would be better to feed it to her cat. And if her cat lived, then her husband must also be fine.
Oh, it's like those.
I hate the cat.
Like the cave parrots. Or
Oh yeah. Canary in the cave.
Yeah.
In the cave.
Yeah, like in the
cave parrots.
olden days.
Cave
I don't know.
parrots.
I went with parrots. Canary is the thing. They would put the birds in the cage down in the caves with them, and then if the
Canary in the coal mine. That's
yeah,
what it is.
if the bird died, it meant that the fumes were there,
Yeah.
and that you had to get out.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting about the bioluminescent stuff. It says that a lot of
he's
these
an expert.
bacteria, which is usually in sea stuff, is where it's most often found. They often live in like a symbiotic relationship with whatever they attach to. And the animal that they attach to often use that bioluminescence as either a camouflage or something to help with mating, or for
oh wow.
yeah, like all sorts of different like surprise uses that they've kind of developed because they have this bioluminescent stuff on them.
So grow to like interact with keep each other living in that sense?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't say anything about salmon, but like
Yeah.
they're saying that these bacteria end up creating this like unique.
That's cool.
They work together to.
Yeah, on that one of the things I was reading, it showed all the different bacterias that glow, and I think all but 2 are like marine related, like they happen in the water. 2 of them can happen not in the water, which would be really cool because it's very Avatar.
Yeah, I was just
if
gonna
more
say,
of our stuff was
luminescent squirrel.
Yeah. Those
but-
little floating.
Yeah,
little
yeah.
Things.
And they showed like what temperatures and depths they could survive at, and why certain like tropical fish tend to have this certain bacteria in their gut, and it's much more common than I think anyone understands based on what I was reading. It's pretty across all fish.
Okay.
What I get from this is the fact that when we went to Alaska and caught salmon, and hearing this now too, cook salmon from Alaska well. It's like
You don't
people
wanna
are
get any
people are
Rita.
eating sushi. What the hell?
Yeah.
I mean, between that and all the worms we saw,
We did
Oh,
see
we
a lot
did
of
see
worms.
That's
we
right.
saw like people were
The
like
guy was like, "Don't tell my wife."
yeah yeah, 'cause they're like butchering them on a table, and like the table's covered in worms after. Up yours, man. And people are eating.
But see, I wonder
That
if
place
that's
wasn't
like,
very sanitary too.
I wonder if that's like ducks though. Every time we go duck hunting, you go to clean a duck and it's got those little
That's on the fur though. I can
little
accept
fellers
that.
on it.
I can accept that. I'm talking about worms in
On
the
the
meat.
fur?
Yeah, they
The
got
feathers?
like the down underneath. Yeah, because it's like right up along the. I get it. They don't have fur,
It's funny, you
but it's
say
like it feels like fur
You
though.
said so.
It feels like fur.
Yeah.
So
The little downy feathers kind of feel
Yeah.
like fur, I guess.
yeah.
If you had to like justify it.
But yeah, they got those little bugs that crawl around on them, but that's not on the meat, so I don't really have an
Aren't
issue
those
with
like
that.
more like mite things?
Yeah, mice would be a good description of them.
Yeah.
But you can't describe stuff, so
I wonder
Where's
if that,
Uncle Mark when you
I
need him?
wonder if that bioluminescent stuff
inside me
is
apparently
similar to those. What are those fish called that are like deep ocean?
not like that.
And they've got the little
Not
the
the
One in
thing-
Nemo.
that they use, and then,
Yeah.
like that's it brings stuff in, then they eat it.
Yeah.
It's not the lantern. It's called
Green Lantern.
pizza.
Are you a lantern fish?
No, no,
I
no.
eat
No.
some.
It's
It's also a superhero. That
Oh,
pizza is
the
good.
anglerfish.
angler.
Angler?
That's what
There's
it
a
is. Yes.
secondary location near where we're going tomorrow.
That's
So
tempting.
we're having pizza.
I guess if that's what you're into. I don't. It's fine.
Anyhow, I don't know what this is now anymore. But anyhow, I
Well, we were talking about bioluminescence
And he's like,
in sea
"Pizza,
creatures, and you were talking about
Green
pizza,
Lantern."
so we stopped.
I think you should cook the fish from Alaska well. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Between the worms and the bioluminescence and the bowels and all that stuff, I think you should cook them well.
I would love to see a glowing fish though. That'd be pretty cool.
That
Yeah.
would be cool.
So I'm gonna ask all the grocery stores to turn off their lights for a minute.
The cod's glowing.
Imagine they turn off the lights and the whole shelf is just.
It's the thing. It's the thing no one's talking about.
It's all the stuff they've injected them with is probably what that
Yeah.
is.
It's
That's
like
what
when
people thought.
when the power goes out and you're at a grocery store and it's like weirdly quiet,
Yeah.
but then you're by the fish and you see that slight glow, and then you realize they're also. Whoa!
I'm hearing them. I hear the fish.
Jeez.
Well, factory meat will be better.
Yeah. Lab grown.
Lab grown.
Lab grown. Yeah.
Yeah, that was obviously sarcasm, but lab grown meat is disgusting.
Yeah.
I can't
Dude,
believe
that
people
sounds like just like the best way to get cancer
don't. In a hurry.
in a hurry.
If I've learned anything from comic books, is that glowing stuff either gives you cancer or cool powers.
Right.
So
I'm gonna bet on cool powers.
Don't you
roll
have,
the dice.
don't you have some story or something stupid?
We could have gone with, speaking of brightly colored fish, or anything like that.
I love it. Something
Would've
just
Get on with
stupid.
the stupid.
So I don't know if you guys remember.
That was for the fur. I didn't like that.
It's not fair.
there's golden there's
Down.
golden
Down.
there's golden trout in California.
Why don't you make out with your doll?
You got a story, AJ?
Why's it got a hole there? What are you gonna do with it?
What do you?
Grandma,
That
look.
thing's already creepy enough.
had to
Don't
show
make
it.
it any creepier.
He's gonna add a voice box to it.
Yeah, put it in front of the camera.
He's doing
Put it in front of the
he's
camera.
doing the I just fed my friend's paint laugh.
Yeah.
Look, it's so dumb.
It's,
Why you wanna see AJ?
Just put it in front of the camera so everyone can see it.
It's got like
This is what
it's got a
happens.
hand that's cupped like this, and the other one's like this. Just making it go.
Oh, okay.
You
I
need
don't
to
get
do a
it.
dirty gesture.
Kyle and his grandma.
It's especially funny because Kyle did it to his grandma. He goes, "Hey, grandma."
I had just learned it in school. I was a kid.
Just learned what?
It's good.
You learned that that's what that means, and then immediately went to your grandma. What?
Thank you, Ryan. Yes, that's what happened. I learned it in school. I went home. My grandma was babysitting me that night. And as a 10, 11-year-old, I was like, I know what sex is, Grandma. She goes, okay. She's like, and I was like,
I've decided to discuss it with you.
that is exactly what happened. I remember, I'm like, I got to tell somebody. She's here. And I feel like my parents will be weird about it. So Grandma's getting it.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. But yeah, I remember shutting off the TV to tell her. Yeah. And then,
Oh, whoa.
and then when she wasn't sold that I knew, like she was
Grandma,
trying-
you don't understand.
This is how it works.
I did it. So then I
Oh,
You're super
man.
serious about it?
because I wasn't sure if she knew.
That's
Because
funny.
Grandma's not gonna do that.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of
I got-
brightly colored fish,
that conversation with my dad when he got home, he goes, "Your guy." I remember he sat me down, and I remember my mom saying, "Philip, you need to talk to your son." I was like, "I didn't do nothing, so I don't know what
talk
this
to me, he
could be
needs to
about."
talk to you.
yeah. So he takes me in my room. He goes, "Did you talk to your grandma about anything strange tonight?" I was like, "Oh yeah." He goes, "Do you use?"
We talked about.
And he goes, "Did you use hand gestures
There was a- there
to
was
talk
a-
to your grandmother?" I go, "Yes, I did."
There's a cool episode of Power Rangers. We talked about what we were going to have for dinner. We talked about going to Pound Town. We talked about.
Oh my god.
I am so sorry for the G-rated audience in this this episode, but yeah, I was a kid. I don't know. I learned about it in school. I'm sure it was Curtis.
No one
Kate.
said it was bad.
Yeah, no one said it. Well, no, and it was like everyone wanted to talk about it.
Yeah.
We had health class right around that time where they, like, for the 4th, 5th grade, they
Sure.
teach you. Then everyone's talking about it. I got to tell somebody.
Grandma's the one.
And
Yeah.
I was like, I do remember now being like, when she was brushing me off, I'm like, I'll show you. Look. And I was like, I know. I think she challenged me like, I don't think you do, honey. I go, no. Oh yeah.
I'll show you.
And yeah. And my dad was like, what? I remember when he asked me, he's like, did you use hand gestures? I'm like, yeah, she didn't believe me. And he's like, just don't. And then I think that was the conversation. Like that
believe
was
it.
Don't.
that was
Short.
I think that was the birds and
I
bees
like
conversation
that
for
you brought that up, and he's like, Ryan, why would you bring that up? So, anyways, all the details of that story.
Well, once he did the hand gesture, I felt the need to defend myself. Go on with your stupid story.
So,
Thank you.
I'm
AJ.
sure you guys don't remember, but last year in the podcast, I talked about going to West Virginia and doing what they call the Gold Rush,
Good, go.
where they bring.
Oh yeah.
We could have all done it together.
We got-
It could have been a fun activity, maybe an episode even. They release these
Sounds like tourist
golden colored rainbow trout.
Yep.
I do remember this.
They received a gift of rainbow trout, whatever the little babies are called.
Minnows.
No,
I remember this story.
fry
Guppy,
Fry.
guppies.
I think it was
from
my story.
another state, and they brought them into West Virginia. And of the 50,000 of them or whatever, 300 of them survived the trip. And then of those 300, one of them was a weird golden color. It was like a random fluke, like a weird, like an albino kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they took that, isolated it, and then reproduced with all these other kind of fish to make sure they had a bunch. And then ever since then, they've been releasing them every year into the
Are they
different
sterile?
rivers.
The ones they're releasing? Because if
I
they're
don't
not,
know.
that annoys me a little bit.
A lot
I
of
don't know.
times they'll sterilize those
Yeah.
fish.
It's the same as the fish that are already in the river. They're just introducing more of them because they're still rainbow trout. It's not a subspecies or anything. It's just a different coloration, like a melanistic
Different
pheasant.
model.
No, I get it, but
Yeah, so chill,
it's just-
racist. Sorry.
So they release all these, and then they do a thing every year where you can like win prizes if you catch the biggest one or the most or whatever, and they release them all over the state. So I thought, well, we'll do that this year, make either a podcast or a hunt cast or an episode.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then all this stuff happened with History Channel, and we ended up making our episodes, and that's it, and we missed it again.
When was it?
It was in April. So
We were everywhere then. So.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I started looking. I said, well, where's somewhere else that you know, maybe they exist somewhere else? They do. They exist in California. They're in 3 different rivers.
The Golden State.
Yeah. They're
Warriors.
in 3 different rivers. They were discovered in 1895, and then by 1905 they were already endangered because people thought they were cool.
Well, nothing albino or colored odd normally does well in nature.
Yeah. These ones aren't as
They
like,
stick out like a sore thumb.
they're not
in
like
the
the straight golden color like the ones in West Virginia are. They still have the kind of pattern that trout
They're
do,
more
where
like
they're darker on top and then lighter on the bottom. They got the red stripe through the middle, but these ones are just really golden on the bottom. But there's 3 different kinds. They're considered critically imperiled, which sounds horrible. It's like they're endangered, but they're not. But it's only because they're only in 3 different river systems. And then with people introducing different sport fish into those rivers, that has also hurt them. They introduce brown trout, and brown trout eat them, I assume when they're younger. And then they introduced rainbow trout, and rainbow trout are mating with them and
diluting the genes.
Yeah. So, but they are still there, and they're still to the point where you can fish them. And that might be the best thing to do for them, is to fish them, so that way that money goes towards helping the habitat. And
So, do people keep them?
they said they taste good, so I would assume they keep them. There was nothing, from what I've seen.
They just take a riverside bite and let it go.
Yeah, that way you're not killing them.
Yeah.
You're just trying.
Just
it.
catch and try and release.
Catch, try, release.
They're really cool though. They have a on their fins, kind of like brook trout, where they got that white. They got that with gold and then a little stripe of black. They're really neat looking. I'll put a picture right here.
Never do that.
Now he gets to.
Yeah,
Right,
he does.
specifically here. In other news today, the golden.
I'm proud of you.
Keep going.
Jeffrey now edits the podcast, so we're letting him. Matter of fact, this is the date on the
This'll-
calendar when
this'll
he
all-
did.
This is all getting cut out. It's just going to be a picture.
Oh,
Yeah, so I thought it was really neat that there's another place where these fish exist and you can fish for them, and I'm going to go. Screw you guys.
What's the circuit called? Gold Rush?
In West Virginia, the thing they do is the Gold Rush, where they release all these fish. They give away commemorative, like coins. You can win prizes. Whereas in California, it's just there. You can fish for them.
fair enough.
It seems like you can fish for them from April through November. Whether or not, like trout here, whether or not you'll actually get them is dependent on weather, temperature, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
That is
yeah,
interesting.
I'm gonna go. So
Have fun.
screw you guys.
When we come back after the commercial break, we are going to be meeting with our buddy Charles, who makes gun holsters and some other cool products, because it's a really cool entrepreneur story. Tune in.
Nice.
If you want to be here, it all starts here. At Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, we have the widest selection of the quality brands you love to get you outdoors. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, our friendly, knowledgeable outfitters will help you find the right products for your next trip. Shop with confidence with our low price guarantee. Plus, club members save even more on great gear with exclusive member pricing. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, voted America's best outdoor retailer.
For every purpose, for every path, for every soul, For every season, there's a Ram.
Legends aren't born, they're created. Introducing Impulse from Savage, the all-new American-made straight-pull bolt-action rifle. Unmatched innovation, fast reloads, maximized efficiency, repeatable accuracy. Welcome to American Straight Pull. Only from Savage.
Hello and welcome back to the Green Outdoors podcast. We're now joined with Charles. So Charles, how do you pronounce the name? Is it Klecker?
Klecker.
Klecker.
Yep.
So I was turned on to him because we've got a friend down the street that owns a gun shop. It's called Massasauga, and it's in Fenton, Michigan. And that's where Savage sends all of our guns when it's time for us to go pick them up. So we were in there quite often, and he was talking to me about some of the products he made. And I'm one who loves the entrepreneurial spirit. So anytime I see an entrepreneur, someone working on something for themselves, I always get pretty jazzed up about it. And then the products were pretty cool. So I want you to tell everyone a little bit about yourself, who you are, and a little bit just kind of an overview of your company, and then we'll dive into the products and how they're made because I think people will find it fascinating.
All right. Well, my name's Charles. I started Klecker Tactical back in 2018. Just got off of my deployment with the Marine Corps, and I was doing firearms training with foreign security forces.
Get a little closer to the mic.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry. You can move it. You can move it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
There you
First
go.
time, guys.
Yeah.
It shows. It shows. So I was doing foreign security forces training with firearms, and I was the lead firearms instructor. So I started a firearms training company doing CPL courses and everything. And I went to SDI, which is Sonoran Desert Institute for Gunsmithing. It was all online. So I got my associate's degree in firearms technology.
Okay.
And in that, there was a course on kydex, on doing holsters. They went over history of leather holsters and all different types, but they send you a kit to make your own holsters.
Really? For college?
Yeah. Yep.
Maybe
So-
I will go after all.
I'm planning on going back and using the rest of my GI Bill, so
Nice.
I'm being forced to.
Oh, okay.
The wife told me so.
Oh, I see. I see.
But part of the class was that, so I made one for myself, and I thought, I can probably make some for friends and family, and then they were like, hey, these are pretty cool. Can you make more? Can you make more?
Mm-hmm.
And then it just was like, why don't I just start doing this on the business side and add it to the firearms training? Holsters, firearms training, they went together hand in hand.
Sure.
So, and part of good training is to have good quality gear. So holsters being one of those things where if you own a firearm and you want to be a responsible gun owner, you got to have this is a tool. This is a piece of equipment to keep your firearm safe and to use it effectively. So it just kind of blew up from there.
In some ways, we were talking about it earlier. We
Yeah.
were talking about them, and the argument between having your carry gun have a safety or not have a safety.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm of the idea of wanting to have the safety because there's at times where I'll want to have the safety on. And you could always leave it off if it was in your holster. And Ryan made the comment that like a good holster kind of in a way acts as your safety.
Yeah.
Which is important. But also, it's just one of those things like you say you don't have a safety and it just sounds crazy.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
Well, they also say this other thing about guns, like my everyday carry concealed weapon is a SIG P365.
you and half the country.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. Really, really. And they kept saying when I was first looking into that one, they kept saying, "Well, it doesn't have a safety, but the trigger is the safety." I'm like, that doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get it. But I forget exactly how this gun engineer worded it, but he was basically saying like there's a series of locks the trigger system has to go through to be able to actually fire the gun.
Mm-hmm.
And so you know what I'm talking about?
Basically, you have to intentionally pull the trigger. It's more so if that trigger were to be pressed and pulled at the wrong angle with the wrong amount of pressure, essentially it's not going to go off. So Glock was the first one that had the safety with their triggers. It's a hinged style, or M&P has a hinged style. Glock has like a blade in the middle, and that blade has to it actually, if you don't hit that blade, it'll hit on the back of the trigger guard and it won't prevent that trigger from being fully pressed. M&P's has it where it's a hinge style with a catch on it, and it has SIG's is a little bit more internal, but if you're off a little bit on it, it's kind of like it'll jam up.
Right.
So if you're not doing a nice a straight pull back, and it's more of it has to be an intentional pull.
Right.
So
And it was like, say I carry appendix, which
Yep.
my wife hates.
And this right here is for you. This is out of a 365. So
Oh, nice.
today you can try this on and see how comfortable that is.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
So you can see how this is that. We'll get into that on the mixed
Which-
models.
Actually, I wish I had mine with me now.
That's the XL, so it's just a little bit bigger. All it is with the XL is a longer grip and a longer slide.
That's
So
why.
they're looking at one of his holsters right now.
Yeah, I'll hold it up. I have something super similar to this. It's the Axis Tier 1.
Yep, Tier 1. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like the first one that pops up when you're like start looking for these things on the internet.
And they're a bigger company too. They've been around
Yeah.
longer. And I've had one person, he ordered an M&P holster from me, and he's like, "Yeah, Tier 1 said they're just getting support for it, and they maybe like 30 days out to get you your holster." I'm like, "I can get you one tomorrow."
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
He's like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
And he's like,
you
"Okay."
make them all here in Michigan too.
Yep, I make them. My garage, I built a shop that's divided in my garage, and I got my own separate shop with all my equipment in there.
That's so cool.
So I got that, and he said that he was impressed with how quickly I got it to him, and he liked the quality and the comfort. He's like, "You're almost better than the Tier 1." And he's like, "And you were about $50 cheaper." Those sell for about $90.
Okay.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's
And the competitor would run like 150, 140.
somewhere around like 130 to 140, even the 150 range for that,
Yeah.
because that's a flex. So it's got a shock cord in it, so that'll more move with your body.
it goes around your belly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a little bit
Especially when
more
you're
comfortable.
sitting, like if you have it and you're sitting, or like you're in the truck for a while, it makes it like you can almost forget you have it on. It's pretty
Yeah.
comfortable.
Yeah, I started carrying in that 3-4 o'clock position on my hip, and I was carrying like I was a 320 compact, which is not really a compact in my opinion. It's a pretty big gun.
Yeah.
And my grip would always stick out. No matter what I did, I had to be conscious of that grip. So I was like, well, forget that. Which way am I going to do? So I learned about appendix carry, and I was like, this is so much faster to get to my gun.
Yeah.
It's so much more comfortable, versatile. It was so much better. So
I've also heard that it's a better security wise. Like it's easy to protect it.
It is.
Let's say if you had it in your hip, or you carry, I don't know who does that, but carries on the small of their back.
I know they're weird.
They're weird.
Well, it's like if you know it's there, you can come up right behind the person.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
It
want
seems
mine-
like a
yeah.
security issue.
I've seen people do it.
That's
There's
pretty
like
nice.
a type of person that does it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like an old cowboy kind
Yeah.
of guy.
and
The
you
old
you see 'em
timers.
at Wendy's, and it's always a 38 special.
And they're
snub
open
nose.
carry, small in the back too.
Yeah,
Upside
yeah.
down in this weird.
It's like the
Might
guy
want a
open.
safety on that one because you could just.
It's like the guy open carrying in a Walmart or something.
Yeah. No, these like you said about the safety is, if you notice on the trigger guard area, that trigger guard's covered with that plastic, so nothing's getting inside of it at all. And especially even when you have a light, a lot of people have problems with lights, but like this is a light bearing one, so it has a flashlight on it.
AJ,
and that
AJ
still
just,
covers it.
AJ and I both just got the 9mm Stance, which is the carry gun from Savage.
Yep.
Should I go get it?
Huh?
Should I go get it?
I don't think he has one made specifically for that here, but yeah,
No,
you
if
can.
you just wanna
yeah,
see it.
Yeah, heck. It's in my office in the case. He's like, "Where you going, Dad?" He's like sitting in the corner over there.
He's been sleeping. As soon as we come in here, he wants to.
So cute. I like how easy it is to get it out.
Yeah, and
It's real
and
smooth.
all the holsters have adjustable retention too. So every single one of my holsters, you can adjust the retention.
So like if it was too tight and you had trouble getting it out, you could do something to change that.
Those two screws that your fingers on right there.
Yeah.
You would loosen and tighten those. The top one will give you more of a that active retention.
Okay.
You don't really hear it too much with the molds. Some molds are different, but you'll just adjust those how you like it. And usually, so the appendix rigs that have a claw, which is that concealment claw that you're seeing,
Yeah.
that's pressing up against your belt. So that claw pushes against your belt and it drives the grip closer and tighter to your body.
Yeah.
So that's what that does. It helps keep it more concealable, which reduces what's called printing. Printing
Yeah.
is when you can see the outline of your firearm on the through your clothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that claw is there for usually the larger frames, even some of the larger compacts and full size guns. So I can carry a full size 1911, for example, appendix with a claw, and you wouldn't even know I had it.
That's cool.
Right.
So and I think it makes it more comfortable.
So this is the 9mm Stance from Savage. This is the one with the laser. That's the laser button right there. And then there's the fire. You've got your safety right there. I went with the safety. It comes in 9mm. The handle on it is like extremely grippy, and I'm really impressed with that. Comes with 2 clips, but I'm really, really, really happy with this gun as a carry gun. So I'm gonna have to get one of yours for this. for
Yep,
sure.
and there's a company that makes molds for that, so I would be able to support that.
Awesome.
Again, I can use the actual firearms, and for a lot of custom stuff, I try to do that. I'm working on getting my FFL, so that way it makes that process a lot easier and simpler to do.
Because people can send you the guns, then get the holster, and
Yep.
pick them all up in one swing.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Because then I can legally take possession of that firearm for over 24 hours. If
Okay.
it's a same day thing and you're local, then I can get it done. To be within the laws of the FFL and the federal, the ATF, and all that.
But you already make them for a lot of the common guns already.
Yep. So your big carry ones, so your Glock 19s, most Smith & Wesson models, like the Shields, the 365s, Hellcats, all the big micro compacts that are really popular right now, I support all of those. And I'm always growing. I'm always buying more molds, and it's an ongoing process. I tried making an account, and I lost count, but I can support, I think, 60 some models at the moment.
Oh, nice.
I think I can't remember the exact number, but there's like 275 plus different variations if you go with all the lights and all the different variations with all the guns. There's a whole bunch of variations.
What are some common mistakes you see? Like if you're helping someone make something custom, what's like a common thing you see where you're like, I don't know if I would do that. Is that a thing, or do people generally just go do the right stuff?
I've had a couple people ask me for something that I'm like, I wouldn't do that. And I can't remember off the top of my head. You'd think that something like that would stick.
Yeah.
But I don't really get too many weird requests like that. Like I've had people ask me for holsters for like a challenge coin on their belt. Like I had a police officer ask me for a challenge coin carrier. And I was like, I don't even know how you're going to do that. But I figured it out, and we ended up doing it for him.
Okay.
There was somebody who wanted... I think that he wanted to have a cross draw. That's what it was. He wanted to have a cross draw holster for a revolver. So another one of those cowboy guys, right?
Yeah.
And it's if that's what you want to do, that's fine. I'm not putting you down. It's just not for me.
Right.
I don't think it's safe.
Right.
But the cross draw was, if you're right-handed, you'd carry outside the waistband on your left-hand side. So you'd have to reach across your body and then draw.
Yeah.
And it's like, I could do it, but I'm not going to recommend it. And I don't really feel like that's going to be safe.
What would you say separates your product from the competitors out there?
The fact that mine's all done by hand.
Okay.
So the biggest thing is I touch every one of these. It's only me. I'm a one-man show. Currently right now I do what's called foam pressing. So it's a little bit more, there's inconsistencies in it because each one's just slightly different. So I can make them look, if you guys would probably not notice the difference. Me as the artist, I see the flaws, right? But if I made 6 holsters in a row, you guys wouldn't be able to tell much of a difference. But I would see all that one I sanded a little bit too much, or that one I cut a little bit differently, and they all have that little bit of differences.
Personal
so
flair.
The differences, it's personalized.
How can you personalize them? As far as like, this is a black one. What if I wanted something Greenway Outdoors, or I wanted different colors, or topo maps, or something like that? Like, what do you offer as far as that goes?
So I have pretty much every solid color and carbon fiber colors. I don't think I have.
I like carbon fiber a whole bunch.
I like the. I have
a lighter. This is a lighter carrier that's in carbon fiber.
Oh, that's cool.
So I can do carbon fibers in just about any color. Sometimes I can get carbon fiber with actual graphics on it, like prints. Like I could do this topo. I could do this topo here with like carbon fiber topo in whatever color combination.
Can I see it?
Yeah. So
These things are sweet.
I can have custom prints done. So H3 Customs out of California is one of the biggest places. It's the only place I go to get custom colors and specialty prints. That's where I go.
Okay.
And there's other companies that they can offer their specialty prints, but they 9 times out of 10 are getting it from them anyway.
Okay.
So if you guys wanted to send me your logo, I can have it printed on like dump trays like that, or on a
cool.
holster.
That's
or
sick.
Whatever you wanted to be made, I can just get your logo. If you guys wanted your faces, like a group photo, I can make that happen. So
Getting some of these with the logo on it.
Picture of Ryan's mom or something cool.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so you can do custom
like
colors and prints. They're all on my website, and then I have links to where I get all of my colors and prints from. So there's like almost an endless amount. And if whatever you can think of, as long as it's not a licensed image that I can't just use.
Yeah.
I can send a high quality image over and have it printed on there.
So your range of products, obviously, we talked about the holsters, and then you also have these trays. And I like these because this is something when you get home, you throw your wallet and keys on it and like keep it on the mantle or something like that. And getting this made with our logo would be sick. But so talk to us about the trays. Talk to us about your overall products, like the list of them, so people know like what can I get from them. They obviously know about your customer service, your turnaround time's quick. You're local. You make everything here in Michigan. Everything's handmade, and your pricing is way less than everyone else. So,
and I'm able to
ship
do that,
anywhere.
Yeah, anywhere in the lower. I had to look into my shipping for like Alaska and Hawaii.
Ironically, we have people in Alaska and Hawaii.
Yeah. So I think it might cost just a little bit more because of the
Shipping.
it's airfare
Yeah.
versus just ground. But I just use UPS or the Postal Service Priority Mail. I use a $10 flat rate shipping.
Cool.
It just covers any shipping fees and rates because they do kind of fluctuate a little bit.
Yeah.
That just covers all the bases, and I ship anywhere in the lower 48.
We run into that with Greenway gear too. It's a pain in the butt.
Yeah. So as far as products go, and my pricing is able to stay low because I don't have as much overhead. I'm a one-man show, so I don't have rent because my rent is my mortgage.
Yeah.
So, which is a tax write-off, so that's kind of cool with the business. But I try to make everything that I can myself. I've made a lot of molds and jigs and attachments myself, just with whatever tools and material I have.
You remind me of my dad, but with plastic. He was everything metal.
Yep. Yeah. So I have the dump trays. Those are fairly new because that's what I'm getting into is called vac forming, and I have a table that uses a vacuum pump, and it sucks the air out from the mold, and that's what creates the form. Whereas these ones are all done with, I throw it in an oven, heat it up to a certain temperature, and makes it all pliable, like real flappy.
And then you shape it.
I fold it around it, put it in a foam press with a lot of pressure, and then it comes out, and then I draw my lines and I cut and finish it from there.
Yeah,
But these,
cool.
it expedites the process and makes everything so much more consistent and clean looking, and it's more for like a higher production level for me. So I'm just starting to get into that, which opens up opportunities for way more things.
Awesome.
So I've got dump trays. I've got the lighter carrier here, so that it holds a big lighter. I like these because you tether it to your pack, and then I don't know how many big lighters I've lost camping.
Okay.
Or
Yeah,
hiking.
that's true.
I always lose it. I go, I thought I put it in my pocket, and I missed my pocket, or I had a hole in my pocket.
Yeah.
You keep it in this, and you tether that either to your pocket or your bag somewhere, and you know where your lighter's at.
Nice.
I've done them for the full-size Bics. I've done it for mini Bics. There's a local smoke shop that I do vape carriers for. So it just hangs
That's
around
funny.
the neck for like the breezes and some of their vapes. So I do those. I've done some, like I said, the challenge coin carriers for a police officer, and there's a couple other little projects I've tried doing, but they're more like just kind of like trying them out. I haven't really fully got them out yet.
I don't want to.
The Greenway Outdoors is brought to you by Ram Trucks, built to serve. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, your adventure starts here. Savage Arms, Nosler Ammunition, Bosch Shot Shells, Wilderness Athlete, fuel for the rugged, Tracker Boats, fish the finest, Eagle Fishing, designed for the savvy angler, Rufus Teague Barbecues, Snacks, and Spices, Rectech Grills, it's more than a grill, it's a way of life, Sea-Doo, make your own waves, LEM Products, motivating people to hunt, process, and prepare their own food, Quiet Cat, the leader in electronic bikes for hunting, fishing, camping, and exploring. Consistency. That's what you aim for with every practice shot. So when you're out in the field, you get that same consistency every shot. With Carlson's choke tubes, consistency is what you'll get. Our choke tubes are long-lasting, high quality, and made right here in the USA. Carlson's choke tubes, pattern tested, hunter approved. Find out more at choketube.com.
Are you anxious to get going? Knowing that the clock is ticking and time truly is the most precious commodity in the world? Then you, my friend, are in good company.
I don't want to crap on the cop or anything, but why?
So do you know what a challenge coin is?
I do.
Okay. So the usually it's the younger guys that want to flaunt, like they want to show it. He wanted to on his belt, but not able to see the coin. So he wanted it to know that it was like a coin, but I had to cover the face of the coin so you couldn't tell the type of coin because they're like ranked coins.
Mm-hmm.
That's how the whole challenge coin bit works. so it was a cool project. I think I tried like 4 to 5 different designs before I got it, and he was happy with it. And I'm like, and I after talking to him, like I think he was a younger cop, and that's usually like the younger guys that want to do that. The older guys are like, you just throw that thing in your pocket.
Right. Well, if people want to order something from you, where do they find you?
So I have my website, so kleckertactical.com. They can go directly there.
And it's KLECKER.
Yep, tactical. And then .com. So you can purchase everything right there on the website, and then there's also the Massog Outfitters there in Fenton, Michigan, off of Torrey Road that I have stocked inventory there. So there's a
good amount there.
Yeah, I've been growing it. I just added Hellcat Pros. So every once in a while, Chris, the owner, will just kind of give me like, hey, I've been selling a lot of these. You know, we should put some of these holsters on the wall.
Yeah.
And then I also do special orders through there. So you can go right into the store, do a special order, pay there. I get the order, and within 3 to 7 days, depending on what you ordered. And like if you ordered a specialty print and color, sometimes it's going to take longer because I have to go get it. I'm not going to stock a lot of specialty prints.
Yeah.
And if it's a new gun, then I got to wait for that mold to come in.
But 3 to 7 days at the worst case.
Typically, yeah. Sometimes it can be a little bit further, but we usually I talk to the consumer directly, like, hey, this one's going to be about this long or whatnot, and then you can special order and pick it up right there for free. No additional shipping costs.
Gun people like that too, to be able to talk to somebody about it and what they're getting.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah,
you probably get yourself in a lot of conversations where people are like,
Well, and the biggest thing is the light stuff. There's lights and lasers. I just had a guy who's going to order 2 because he's like, I can't find anything that will support with my Streamlight TRL8. I was like, I can't find any company that will do that. So and there's no local companies that are going to do that. There's a couple local holster makers in Detroit, in the surrounding areas, but not very many of the gun stores are supporting as much custom special orders.
Right.
It's like, this is what we have on the shelf, and if you want to, you can talk to that company directly.
Or they're trying to buy it online or something, and then they don't know what they're getting.
Right, and then they're going to pay more. There's a premium for paying
significantly.
Yeah. So I like to try to keep my costs as low as possible, and yeah, it's a business. I'm in it to make money. But I enjoy doing it. It's fun to take.
You're in the volume business.
Yeah.
So.
I like taking something that was flat and just a bunch of hardware and turning it into something like this.
Right.
So it's I can keep my costs low, be competitive, and be fair, and then I can also offer that customized. Like, hey, I want something that's different than this guy. I want maybe this to be a little different. I had a guy holster like this. He wanted it on his hiking pack for his 1911. So I made a holster like that with molly clips that could go to the waist straps on his pack. So he had like not a tactical pack. It was just like an alpine pack out for going elk hunting. And he wanted to take his gun with him. And I was going to make him that chest holster like I made for you. Mm-hmm. He's like, I got my vinyl harness, and I wanted to keep my chest kind of free. I'd rather just on my pack on my hip. And so that's why we ended up coming up with that. And it took a little bit of tuning to get it to fit his pack, but it's stuff like that where you're not going to get anywhere else.
No.
And it's never going to scratch?
It will scratch. So it's Kydex, it's plastic. It's going to wear the finish down eventually.
On the gun, though, on the inside?
Mm-hmm. Okay. It's going to eventually, because it's going to make some contact and it's going to wear. Is it going to get to the point where it's going to make your gun rust? No, it's not going to get that. Most big manufacturers have good quality coatings, so you're not going to wear it down and we're going to start seeing rust. I would say still oil it.
Right.
The nice thing is you can clean these. Leather you can't really clean.
That's true.
You'd be surprised actually wearing one of those holsters, like the appendix one, how much dead skin gets in there.
Yep.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you legitimately wear one like every day, it gets grimy.
You're a mess.
So you just rinse it out and wipe it down with cloth. I like to take some oil, like gun oil, and wipe it down a little bit, just kind of help lubricate a little bit.
Nice.
But you think about leather, you do that to leather, that just makes makes sandpaper.
Yeah.
You're just gonna embed dirt gets embedded inside of it, and then you get it wet. Now you gotta wait for it to dry, and if you get it too wet, you gotta reshape it and then put it back into its form.
For sure.
And leather will lose its form. This will never lose its form.
Right.
Unless you put it in your car on like a 120-degree day, and it gets to temp where it starts to relax a little bit. And if it does, again, call me or email me, and we'll get it taken care of.
Okay.
So if your holster, and that's the other thing is I warranty these things for life. If there's anything that happens as far as a manufacturer defect, a screw's hardware came out, something bent, something broke, something cracked, I will replace the hardware or the holster.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you for coming in and sharing all this with us.
I think it'd be cool to get some all black in color with white lines, topographical mats made with our logo.
Yeah, so I could do that, and then I have like this logo with like that, so this black here, but just have topo lines behind it.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's something. I'll
work the logo into it somehow.
Yeah, like right there in the middle of it.
That'd be sick.
That'd be pretty cool.
Well, thank you for coming in. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Very much. Thank you so much for tuning into the Green Bay Outdoors podcast. You can find a new episode right here every single week on our video podcast platforms. We are on YouTube. We're on Carbon TV. Go to thegreenbayoutdoors.com to check it out. And also some of our how-to video series, our Huntcast series, and some of our full episodes are now on our website for you to view. And as you know, later on this year, we'll be becoming a history channel, and we're so excited to share that content with you too. Thanks so much for tuning in. Stay green.